There was definitely some air in that line. That's for everybody who always says, why do I need a steam port? Why do I need a steam line? Air, guys. That's why. Air. Hey guys, and welcome back to Bad Luck Garage. I know it's been a few days since I made a video, and I actually have been getting a few small things done. I want to kind of take this moment, show you some of the little stuff that I've done, and explain to you why I haven't done more. For those of you who follow the channel know I got really bad sick last week, and I actually ended up missing 2 days of work. Well, my job, I actually run a route. So if I'm out of work, the work just piles up, guys. Nobody does it for me. So this week, I've been working till about 7 o'clock every night, trying to get caught up from what I missed last week. And, you know, I really haven't had time to film a full-fledged video, especially like a step-by-step install video like I've been wanting to do, like the last one. But what I have been doing is I've been just, you know, getting some small stuff done on the car every night after work, so I can roll in some video clips of that. We also actually had a subscriber from Georgia stop by and brought me an engine block. It's just, it's no good. It's an aluminum engine block. The back of it's broke, but I told him I'd like to have it just to do mock-ups with. So yeah, him and his wife were up here and they dropped that off. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Everybody, this is Chris Cochran with Cochran's Metal Fabrications. He is on Facebook and has a YouTube channel, so I'll put links in the description if you want to check that out.
Pack it in here, whatever.
He's actually up here all the way from Georgia, guys. So he came up with his family, went camping, and brought me a little goodie here.
Still has the cam and lifters.
Oh shit!
Trainer plate, the guide, has the hold downs, and then I think it was one of the displacement on the man motors because there's different springs on the different
it's probably a LC9, the same thing that's in my Avalanche.
On the bell housing where it's broke at.
Yeah. Well, like I said, man, I'm gonna pull all the metal out of it and use it for a mock-up engine. Like I said, Chris has been camping all weekend. His family's ready to get back to Georgia, so he dropped the block off, grabbed some cash, and
yeah, I got a water pump and some valve covers. I'll bring you up next time too.
Well, if you want to, I mean, I'm not gonna complain about parts.
I can't use them, you can, so. Not that
all right, guys.
away either.
Well, you guys have fun. Is she covering up?
Yep.
Wife's covering up.
We're gonna get on out of here and get back to Georgia.
All right, brother. Well, you have a safe trip,
right.
and thanks again for the block.
Problem. Appreciate it.
Well, like I said in the clip, they just finished camping. They were eager to get home. Still had a couple-hour drive, so didn't really stay long. But definitely check out his YouTube channel, guys, or check him out on Facebook. But the purpose of this video is I want to kind of show you some of the little stuff that I've been doing to the car the last couple days after work. And, well, show you some other little small stuff that I'm going to be doing in the next few days, as well as, you know, what I'm going to get installed. First off, for those of you who were just absolutely losing your mind over the duct tape under the hood, I did finally Plasti weld my air bridge here. The issue I have is I could not find, whenever you're Plasti welding something, guys, you generally want to try to use a plastic that's of similar characteristics, you know, if you're filling in holes or gaps or whatever. And the problem was I didn't have any, you know, any plastic similar to this. The only thing I had was this bucket lid, okay? And it's more of a rubbery plastic. So I'm going to roll a clip here in a second, because what happened was I started doing this, and, you know, in the middle of it, I was like, well, hell, I ought to film some of this. You know, some of you guys might want to watch. So I did film part of it, but you can see in the clip I'm fixing to roll that I'm kind of having trouble bonding the plastic that I get from that lid with the air bridge plastic here. And even now, I do still there's a few little hairline cracks in here that I need to go back and try to melt in deeper and maybe put some more plastic with it. As well, I've still got this original crack right here. So I don't know, guys. I'm gonna keep fooling with this, but honestly, I'm thinking I'm gonna, even though this is supposed to be an eBay build, I'm thinking I'm gonna end up probably having to spend the money and just get a Veraram air bridge, because eventually I was going to buy one for it anyway after the after the eBay build was finished. I was going to buy the Veraram air bridge anyway, since this one's all jacked up. But I'm going to do what I can to salvage this this Veraram air bridge. But I just got to say, guys, the plastic on this is really brittle, and even the fork, you know, the Veraram plastic, what am I trying to think of? The split, you know, where it splits into two filters, you know, that's cracked as well, guys. It's like, they don't use very good plastic on these Veraram intakes, apparently. But I'll go ahead and roll a little bit of that footage in where I was Plasti welding this with a solder iron, and enjoy. As you guys could see, I was having kind of a hard time getting everything to bond there, and I am still going to work on this a little more before I put it on the car. But moving right along, something else I was able to do. If you remember, Zane Hobbs, in our packet that came with that, he also sent us this throttle body spacer. So I have went ahead and tapped both sides, and you can see I've actually got my ZEX nozzle in there already. But since at some point we're probably going to be running 2 stages of nitrous, I went ahead and I tapped this side, which is the driver's side, and I just put a pipe plug in it for now. And then I went ahead and I tapped the other side and went ahead and put my ZEX nozzle in there. So before I take this off of jack stands, we're going to be putting the nitrous on. So this is all ready to go on, and once I put this on, I'm kind of forced to put the nitrous on, because otherwise I'm going to have a massive vacuum leak, right? So while I'm taking things apart, I actually decided to do a little general maintenance too. So I've taken my mass airflow meter here, got it all cleaned out. Here in just a few minutes, I'm going to be taking the throttle body off, cleaning it out, doing the steam port bypass on the throttle body, so that we're no longer pumping hot coolant through our throttle body. So I'm going to bypass that while I've got it off, and there's a couple more issues that I need to address under the hood. This little elbow here is just cracked all to pieces. I mean, there are all kinds of cracks, possible vacuum leaks, so I need to replace that. But I've got a bigger problem. There is actually a vacuum line that runs from back here, from the back of the intake manifold, and it runs over underneath the battery tray, and it runs into the passenger compartment. Now, what that does is it supplies vacuum to the little door actuator that determines where the air is going to come out for your climate control, guys. So if you switch it to defrost, that little door moves one way and it pumps all the air out up here. If you switch it to floors, the door shuts off another way and it puts all the air out, you know, on the floor, you know, or also to the front if you adjust it there. Well, the issue is, over time, they use those hard plastic, like emission style vacuum lines to run this line from the back of the intake over here and into the passenger compartment. And over time, they deteriorate, and they just start crumbling away. Okay, now when I had my battery out, when we were doing our nitrous switch panel install, I looked in there, and what I noticed was my little plastic vacuum line that comes out of the firewall is only about that long, and then it's just gone. And I could find no remnants whatsoever of that vacuum line going from here to anywhere on the intake manifold. And to make matters worse, you really can't get to the part on the back of the intake manifold without actually removing the intake manifold. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to have to take my intake manifold off, pull it forward, and we're probably just going to run a rubber vacuum line from the back of the intake and run it back over here and try to connect it to what's left of the hard plastic line running in there. It'll still freeze you out eventually, but you can't direct where you want the air to go. So what ends up happening is it freezes the windshield because there's constantly air coming out the defrost. It freezes the windshield, and it's not putting a lot of air out directly towards you. So when you first get in the car, you just burn up, and then after a while, and the air circulating through all those vents, it starts cooling down. But I knew it had this issue, and I need to fix it. Not only for the climate control thing, but think about it, guys. If that line is broken off the back of the intake manifold, then we've got a vacuum leak. Pretty good sized vacuum leak back there, and I may have a vacuum leak here, and I haven't even pulled the cover to look at the PCV line, or PCV line over on that side yet. I mean, I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to go ahead and replace all these rubber parts just by hoses and try to replace all this stuff while I've got the car up here on jack stands and doing all this. Also, that throttle body is freaking filthy. So while I've got that off, I'm going to clean that out real good as well. And I realize you guys probably don't want to see all that, so I'm probably not going to bore you with that. What I am going to do, I'm gonna keep tinkering tonight. Like I said, you've already seen what I've been doing over the last couple days, and honestly, I've only been able to mess with the car maybe an hour, half hour to an hour every night after work this week because I've been having to work so late. But I am going to do the wideband install video. We're going to put the pillar pod in and get our good old trusty AEM wideband put in the car so I can tune it. And I wanted to show you guys these. I actually ordered these a month and a half ago from China, okay? And you guys who play with HP tuners probably kind of semi-recognize this. We're old school, you can call it old school now because I got the version 2 MPVI, but your old school MPVI 1 Pro, it comes with one of these that is about that long. It has 8 prongs instead of 2. Well, I wanted, actually, I think it's actually on my lead wire here on my wideband. So this is the one that HP tuners used to come with. I have no idea what their new setup is going to come with. Apparently they don't either because they still haven't freaking released it. But this is what your old one came with, and it allows you to do inputs and outputs from your MPVI Pro. So I didn't want this big thing hanging around in the Corvette. It was always hanging around in Project Steppenwolf. So what I did is I just ordered these little 2-prong ones. I would have ordered a 1-prong one if I could have found it, but I got this whole packet for like $6 or $7 from China. Had to wait a month and a half for it to get here though. So what I'm going to do is once I install my wideband, I'm going to go ahead and install this onto the end of my data wire here, and we're probably just going to tuck it like in the glove box or somewhere like that. So anytime I'm tuning, all I'll have to do is open the glove box, pull my wire out, plug it in, and I'll have my wideband lead. I ordered these in bulk because quite simply I couldn't find just one, and this did come with males and females. So, but there's just a ton of them in here for like $7. But if you guys want to know where I got these, I will put a link in the description, if you want to do something similar. Because if you order one of these straight from HP tuners, I think they charge you something ridiculous, like $10 or something for this. And guys, this is a 20-cent part. So, do what you want, but this is what I decided to do. It won't take up much space, and it'll always be there when I need to plug it in. What, guys, it's like 8 o'clock. I do have to edit this video, but honestly, it really doesn't take that long to pull an intake manifold on an LS engine. So while I'm out here, fuck it, let's take it off. Well, there was definitely some air in that line. That's for everybody who always says, well, why do I need a steam port? Why do I need a steam line? Air, guys. That's why. Air. So, if I was a betting man, I would be willing to bet that most of the people watching this video knows and understands what a throttle body bypass is. But for those of you who don't, just in case, I'm just going to go over it real quick. This is your steam port on the front of your LS engine. You've probably all heard of that. Well, normally what happens is, and this isn't Corvette specific, this is any LS. It doesn't matter if it's a freaking Buick Rainier or a, you know, a freaking, well, actually, I don't know if the Buick Rainier, anyway, I'm getting off topic. But, you know, your trucks, pretty much any of your LS, factory LS equipped vehicles has this. So basically what's happening is it's pumping air out through this line, but coolant also. And the coolant comes out here, comes into your throttle body here, then comes out of your throttle body here into this line, which leads to your radiator. Those of you who've been on this channel for a while, or you've already checked out my LS swap tips playlist, you know, usually what I do is I just run that line straight out of the engine block into the top of water pumps when I do LS swaps. But that's the way it's run from the factory. And you can even see on this stock truck throttle body that I have here, you know, here's your lines. The purpose of it, I think, is to warm the throttle body up to keep it from freezing up in colder climates. But if you live down south like I do, that's really not an issue. So a lot of people say it can actually rob some horsepower because it heats your throttle body up, therefore heating up your IATs. So what most people do is they'll just run the line straight from the radiator to this nipple here. And that's what I'm going to do. So when we go to put everything back together, I will just end up running a line straight from my radiator. I'll probably just run it around the front here and then bring it over and into my steam port line. Alright guys, so I actually had to switch cameras. I didn't have my other one charged up all the way and it went dead. This vacuum line right here is the one that runs down, and what I didn't realize is that vacuum line is actually bundled in the harness, but it runs down to here and runs in with your wiring harness and connects to your climate control manifold. I'm not sure what it's actually called. The problem is, somewhere between right here and the firewall, sticking out about that far, somewhere in between there, that is broken, and I couldn't find this end of it, guys. The end that hooks to the back of the intake manifold and comes down, like, I could not find the other end of this piece. So it is broken off in the wiring harness somewhere. So what I'm probably going to do is just run a piece of vacuum line from this nipple right here on the back of our intake, which is where that connects. I'll probably just run a piece of vacuum line from there by itself and reconnect it with the broken off piece that I found coming out of the firewall, and hopefully that'll fix that issue. But it'll be a good opportunity for me to take this apart, clean the injectors, probably clean the manifold out and everything. Main thing is I've got to get off my ass and do it because, you know, I want to race this thing again in a couple weeks. So, and preferably with the nitrous on it by then. So I'm really going to have to get going on this. Also, when we did the headers, I was not able to get the passenger side air injection line off. Well, for those of you who have wondered, other Corvette guys, this is where it attaches, right here. So I should be able to get a wrench in here or something now, break that loose, and finally get this last air line out of here. But some good news over on this side is it looks like our PCV elbow on this side is in good shape. So yeah, I should just have to replace that piece of that elbow right here with a piece of rubber line. We'll do our coolant bypass and should be good to go. But that's it for tonight, guys. Like I said, just a little update video. Tomorrow, I do want to start on the wideband install. If I get off work in time tomorrow, guys, I'll just get the whole video done. But again, it all depends on when I get off work. I'm getting caught up pretty fast at work, so hopefully I won't have to work too long. Come home, do that wideband video, and either get it edited and uploaded tomorrow, or possibly, you know, edit it and upload it Friday. I do have to work this weekend, but my plan is if I can get all these parts cleaned up, put back on the car over the weekend, you know, just as I get home from work and I have time to piddle with stuff, what I would like to do, like I said, get all this stuff put back on the car and start doing the nitrous install video. I do want to make it kind of like a little step-by-step video. A lot of you guys are asking for that. So that's kind of the format I want to do it in. Because of that, it might be longer. I might have to separate it into 2 videos. Also, I still do not have my all my parts I ordered to build my switch panel. It was Columbus Day or something Monday, so the mail didn't run. Everything's behind. But I haven't built the switch panel yet. So while I won't be able to actually hook the nitrous up, what I am going to do is take relays and stuff and just show you how it should be hooked up from an electrical standpoint. But we will install, you know, the rest of the system, all the lines, all that jazz. So stay tuned for that, guys. I realize this wasn't really an action-packed video, guys, but thanks to you who watched it. Thank you for your support, guys, and I hope you're enjoying what I'm putting out. But for now, I'm going to get in here, get cleaned up. It's been a long day. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, tell a friend about me, help support the channel, get out in the garage, get something done, and I will see you guys next time here on Bad Luck Garage.